All right, now to the deadly game being played in the streets across the country. But before I tell you more, let me warn you, some of the video we are about to show you is very graphic and may not be suitable for children. All right, having that been said now, the game, as it's being called, might seem like a prank, but it is real and it's dangerous, and it involves sucker punching unsuspecting victims. An incident in New York has been repeated and reported as recently as last night, and then there are other cases across the country in which one victim has died. Let's bring in Lou Palumbo, retired law enforcement agent of the Nassau County Police Department, and forensic psychologist Buzz von Ornsteiner. All right, so Buzz, let me begin with you. I mean, there's no good explanation here, but as far as you can tell, what is the underlying reason why people are doing this? And we understand that most of those who are suspected of doing it are teenagers.
Yes, we have to look at the teenager, we have to look at the individual. More than likely, as an individual, these teenagers would not be committing these crimes by themselves. But in a group dynamic, that is really the thing that is going on here. These teenagers may in fact want attention, want power, want control, and the group is allowing them to do that. It's swaying them into these actions, and unfortunately, a teenager who has not doing well within their school placement comes from a conflicted home, and I'm speculating here, and then is participating. Do we know this? We don't know this, but if I was to speculate, a person who's not doing well in their life but is seeking power and control and attention is joining into this group for these actions. And these actions are giving them a thrill, are giving them attention, and are making them feel empowered. In addition to that, because of surveillance cameras, because of YouTube, because of the media, they are not only seen by a couple people, but they're seen by hundreds of thousands of individuals.
And you think that's fueling the desire by those who are carrying out to do this? To get that kind of publicity?
I understand what you're saying, Frederica. Unfortunately, negative attention can still be positive attention if you're not getting any attention at all and you feel unsuccessful within your life. If you're not doing well within your school placement, if your family's not supportive, or you don't even have a family in reality, you have this underlying anger, and then you're acting out and attacking a population that can't fight back, that shocks society, and on top of that, hundreds and thousands and possibly even millions are seeing this on YouTube or on some television, if you know where I'm going.
Yeah, and I wonder, Lou, if people are less fascinated with the why does anyone do this, because it doesn't seem like there's ever going to be a reasonable explanation, but instead, you know, how do you put an end to this behavior? Because no matter what, people are getting hurt, and at least in one case, as we understand, someone got, you know, killed. I mean, we're talking about some pretty serious potential head injuries, being hit and falling on this concrete.
Well, I think the thing we need to focus on immediately is how we're going to bring this practice to a halt.
Yeah.
And that's of utmost importance. We can intellectualize this later and try to figure out what the dynamic is in the inner city or with minorities or indigent people.
Right, which is exactly my point. How do you end this behavior?
Well, one way that you do it is, you know, from the position of a law enforcement agency, is you assemble a team of law enforcement agents, undercover, plain clothes, form a task force, go out in the street and make arrests. The next part of this deterrence deals with how these people are charged, how the crime is classified, and how we sentence them going forward from here.
And when you say classified, I heard some language earlier. We talked to some legal analysts who were talking about, you know, hate crime. Maybe you label this a hate crime simply because people are being targeted. But isn't there much more to the targeting of these innocent, you know, pedestrians? And how difficult would it be to label this as a hate crime and not just simply an assault or attempted murder or something?
Well, in order to have a hate crime, there has to be some attachment to someone's ethnic background or religious denomination, for example. And that's one of the things that's being alleged at this point. They're trying to say that the victims are, for example, I heard one gentleman say that they're all Jewish. They're clearly all Caucasian. It appears that the perpetrators are all black. So all of these little components or elements start to spurn thought or consideration for, is this actually a hate crime? But separate and apart from that is the significance of how we classify their acts and begin a prosecution. In other words, if you understand or read the penal law in the state of New York, under the murder statute, in paragraph 2, it lends itself to depraved indifference towards human life, which clearly this is an example of.
Yeah.
Based on that statement, you then must go forward and properly charge them with a crime.
It is so disturbing no matter what, and it's so disturbing to even to see the images. We apologize for those who have to, help make the point of how heinous this is by you having to see it over and over again. But certainly everyone agrees an end has to be brought to that behavior. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Appreciate Lou Palumbo, Buzz von Ornsteiner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up.